Hey, this is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerials podcast, now with the Digit Network. Thanks so much for tuning in. I cannot believe this, but this is season 5. So thanks to you. This is a thriving podcast, reaching the corners of the world, all the women out there, and I'm so excited and proud to be with you. All right, super excited because I am launching a new podcast with my 2 co-hosts, Noah Dock and Amanda Ritchie. And we are going to be on this feed on Thursdays. It is called The Artist Entrepreneur. We are 3 aerialists and dancers navigating our businesses. And if you'd like to check that out, just check out your inbox on Thursdays. Also in partnership with Sweet Retreats, I'm so excited to be hosting an intermediate aerial dance retreat June 21st through the 28th. Still have some spots available. Please check out the show notes for that. Roll it out every Tuesday and Thursday. Of course, my comprehensive course for those who want to train on their own or you have spotty access to instructors. It's beginner to intermediate, fully online. And then, of course, aerial rehab, postpartum, post-injury, meant to be the bridge between PT and your favorite aerial class. Of course, I'm teaching all over the place this year, Texas, heading back to LA, Ohio, and of course, Oaxaca in June. Let's get started. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh my goodness. Do you live somewhere where it's warm?
It is pretty warm right now, actually. Yeah.
Kelly, where do you come to us from?
So I live in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, you're closer than I thought. I just recently moved to San Antonio, 3 months ago from LA.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. We are very close then.
Yeah. I always see you training on your home rig. Do you go to the Circus Center or any of the studios there?
I do. I teach at a studio called Moxie Mischief Aerial Arts, and we have a location in Plano and then also one on Lover's Lane in Dallas. So I teach the Plano location. But I just practice on my little outdoor rig because it's easier.
Oh, yeah.
3 kids. I'm like, okay, kids, y'all can play in the backyard while I do stuff.
So, Kelly, you're in Dallas. You know, now that I'm here, I'm realizing how many aerialists are in Texas. There's a lot.
We have a good group, yeah.
Yeah. Tell me, okay, so introduce yourself, how long you've been here in Texas and Dallas, a little bit about your practice, and then let's get into these 3 kids somehow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just let me know. Okay. So, hi, I'm Kelly. I have been living in Texas all my life. I was born in Houston. I moved up to Dallas basically when I got married to my husband. And then a year later, I randomly met an aerial instructor. And she taught Lyra. And I grew up doing gymnastics. So I thought, I'd be really good at this, And she invited me to a class. And it was so humbling. I was like, this is so much harder than it looks, but I loved it. And I was like, I've been searching for some kind of fun workout to do. And basically ever since I did that first class, I was hooked. I never went back. And that was back in 2015 when I took my first class. And then about a year later, I started teaching and really have just continued. I've dabbled in the other areas of I've tried silks and hammock and Spanish web a couple times, but really Lyra is my love. It's kind of what I really enjoy the most. So that's kind of how I discovered it.
Kelly, I'm looking at your Instagram and I am one to know how hard it is to build it to the point where you have.
So, I think I really started posting a lot during the pandemic, during 2020. I was pregnant actually with this one right here that's sitting in my lap. And I was furloughed from my job. So I had just a lot of free time. That's when I bought my little outdoor rig. And I just slowly started posting maybe 3 times a week. It started with pictures and then it started with videos. And it just kind of slowly grew from there. And I think I started posting reels right when reels was becoming a thing. And I think that's how it kind of snowballed. And it just kind of slowly grew over time.
Okay, so do you feel like it was slow, your growth? on there?
It's not completely linear. You'll have like little growth, and then you'll have like a plateau, and then there was one point where there was just this huge spike, and maybe that was a couple of years ago. I'm not exactly sure what it was. It might have been a couple of videos that just kind of blew up.
So, I mean, that's how I noticed you, because, you know, I teach all not all the things, but a couple of things. Silks, Lyra, hammock. And, you know, the people who stand out on Instagram because they're doing some really cool stuff that I haven't really seen other people do, or the way that some of us sequence stuff. Was it your goal to grow on there to create a business from it, or no?
No, not at all. It was purely a hobby. I would consider myself a hobby aerialist. You know, I've never been in like the circus or worked for, you know, Cirque du Soleil or anything like that. I just do it because it's fun and I love it. I love moving my body. I love teaching other people. I really do enjoy being an instructor. So that was not my goal at all, to build like a business. It just kind of happened. And so, you know, as a mom of 3, though, I'm like, well, this is a way that I can make a little extra income on the side while being home with my kids. So that's great.
We are going to go into these kids and stuff, but how did you, so now that you're where you're at, like you're like 50K on there, I'm not even at 50K, although I don't know if the numbers necessarily coincide with your, with one's ability to like monetize on it. Mm-hmm. I don't think necessarily, but now that you're there, what do you want to do with it?
It's a good question. I'm still trying to figure that out. Right now, how I make money is through a subscription service. And so you can subscribe monthly to me, and I'll do different tutorials and sequences that might be a little bit longer and in more detail than my normal videos. And so each month I'll try to send out a questionnaire and say, hey, what do you want to learn this month? You know?
Kelly, what happens when you... Can I call you KJ?
Yeah.
KJ, because it's K James. So when I see your name, that's all I think.
KJ. So it's funny because that's what, so my maiden name is James. And so a lot of friends growing up called me KJ. I think I'm still in my husband's phone actually as KJ.
We'll call you KJ just so we don't upset the very delicate balance here in my household. What happens, KJ, when you have 3 of these meltdowns happening at once? Does that happen?
That does happen. And honestly, you kind of have to like laugh at it. I mean, you just can't take them too seriously, but it does happen.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully you're not trying to record a podcast at the same time. Right. Because that's the hard part.
But
it's not like the kids.
There's that time of day, like in the evening, usually it's like after dinner, but it's not quite bedtime. And I feel like everyone just gets really tired and cranky, and it's hard. It's hard. Yeah. Sometimes
it's after lunch hour for us too.
Yeah. Nap time.
Okay. So that's how I started following you, because you're doing some cool stuff on Hoop. You're also quite flexible, which flexibility limits me on Lyra a lot because I don't have flexibility through my back, which is problematic. I have it through my hips, like a straddle. I have that since I was a kid. So you were a gymnast, and is that how you have your flexibility and your strength?
Yeah.
So tell us, please.
I did gymnastics. I started at the age of 3 probably, and did it all the way up through college actually. And then I stayed active after college, but I never really trained flexibility until I started doing Lyra. And then that was definitely something I tried to focus on again. And I was actually surprisingly able to get a lot of flexibility back. Not doing flexibility training in my early 20s, I mean, I definitely lost a lot of it, a lot of range of motion, a lot of strength, but was able to get a lot of it back.
Okay, I think this is interesting for some of our listeners. So do you feel like, for me, I retained and maintain the same flexibility I had when I was 16, which I think is great, but I've never really gone past it. How about you? I
was able to improve it. Before children, I did do quite a bit of I say contortion training in quotes because I was not a real contortionist, but I did do a lot of lessons with some contortionists to work on my back flexibility because I thought I had some potential there. And I was able to see a lot of improvements, actually, which was really cool as an adult because I thought, oh, I'm never going to get more flexible. I'm too old, but you really can if you do proper training. I feel like now that I'm older, I have a better understanding of how my body works and I have better body awareness too. So I'm able to think, okay, engage these muscles, activate, your glutes here. And I think that helps a lot as well.
Yeah, I have one person in my life who became like a contortionist between the ages of 30 and 45, and her flexibility has changed dramatically. And that always gives me some hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So you had your first, and was that pre or post starting aerial?
My first daughter, that was after. So I started aerial in 2015, and then I got pregnant with her in 2018. So 2018, then I had her in 2019. And I will say with that pregnancy, I actually did not train very much at all.
What was that choice? What did it feel like? It just didn't feel right?
So I had just had a miscarriage right before, and I was nervous, and I didn't know anyone who trained while they were pregnant, and I didn't really know much about it. I was honestly just too scared. And then, so I had basically no strength once I had her. And one thing you forget about, or you don't really realize, is that as soon as you have this baby, you're going to be like getting down on the floor, getting up, getting car seats in and out of the car, like lifting things, moving, like you need your strength. And I just remember feeling so weak and like all my muscles, everything was just like squishy and flabby. And I thought, if I ever get pregnant again, I am going to continue my training and I'm going to stay fit. I'm going to stay strong because I do not like feeling weak.
So what I think is so interesting doing this podcast now for the years that I've done it is asking women when they started the aerial and when they started having a family, because it informs you if you started this sport before ever having kids. Like, what it's like to have a body that hasn't been stretched to all proportions and then have to bring it back.
Yes.
So you knew what your body felt like, and then you didn't train because of the lack of information. And I totally get, there was a vacuum. And more recently, the vacuum is now a little bit going back to aerial after your first baby. How long were you before you were pregnant again? Did you have a chunk of time to get back into it?
I got pregnant when I was 10 months postpartum.
What?
So it was
sorry, I didn't mean to laugh with such evilness.
Again, this happened March 2020. Had a little too much free time on our hands, I guess. But so we had a little more trouble getting pregnant the first time around. So we kind of thought it would take a little longer. And then it just happened really, really quickly. I was like, okay, well, we're doing this again. All right.
Pandemic sex.
Yeah. So, then, like I said earlier, it was 2020. I was furloughed. I had all this extra time on my hands. So I had already had a personal training certification. And I thought, this time I'm going to do some research. And I'm going to get my pre- and postnatal certification for fitness. And that way I can really understand what is safe and what I can do and what I can't do. And I'm so thankful I did that because that really helped me be informed and feel good about what I was doing while pregnant.
Did you feel like that exercise certification was really helpful? Really, really helpful? Or do you feel like... for me, when I got my certifications that were not based on pregnancy at all, they were just like, NASM CPT, Pilates. There's just so little. There's like one page of that on prenatal.
Mm-hmm. This was an actual course that was purely focused on pregnancy and postpartum fitness training. But that was the problem I had too. Doing a fitness certification, there really is it's like this paragraph on pregnancy.
All right, let me ask the question and then you can cry, okay? So what was the name of the program and what was it like? Tell me.
I believe, oh man, now I'm blanking on the name. Pronatal, I think it's Pronatal. It was a 30-hour course, and it was online, but it really did talk about, the 360 breathing, how your body works as a core canister, and how to, relax and lengthen your pelvic floor, and how to reduce intra-abdominal pressure while training. And just a lot of really helpful topics that I feel like are not discussed. When I asked my doctor, well, what can I do? What can I exercise? She was like, well, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, oh, okay, but I'm actually doing aerial art. So is that okay? Can I go upside down even? Like, would that affect my baby? And I'm spinning, like, is my baby going to get dizzy in there? And those kind of things, I guess we don't really have a great answer for, but.
Well, and also doctors, that's not really actually their purview. And
No.
and I'm learning so much is it's so not in their lane that they don't want to say much because they're liable for what they say. Mm-hmm. I know there's some courses, like Sarah Duvall has a course for trainers who are working with pregnant people, the one that you took, and they're spinning babies, that I've heard about so much about. Okay, so you had 10 months postpartum and you got pregnant.
Yes.
So you went back to the air, but only for a couple months, I'm assuming.
I went back really quickly, probably honestly a little bit too quickly, but I started back at 6 weeks. I was on that hoop. I think I might have even jumped on a little bit earlier just because I was curious to see what it felt like. But I do feel like I was able to get strong pretty quickly. I was very fortunate. I felt like I was even stronger when I got pregnant with my second than I was with my first. I felt like I was in better shape. And I think just having that time off of aerial kind of just relit that spark in me too. And it really motivated me to train harder.
Yeah, it's not just the ability, it's the passion, the motivation.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Listeners, sorry, Bina's having a day. KJ, did you ever have any C-sections?
No.
Okay. So you had all vaginal births. You've had 3. Is there any story that you'd like to tell the listeners that might inform them? Anything that surprised you?
Anything that surprised me about like pushing a baby out, or what exactly?
Yeah, the whole labor process. All the things. Anything that surprised you? Like, did it fit your expectations for the pain that you're going to go through? Did you have medicated or unmedicated, or what your choices were?
I love talking about birth stories. So I actually really wanted to do a very natural birth with my first. I read like hypnobirthing. I read Ina May's Guide to the Natural Childbirth. Like, I was ready to go to like 42 weeks. And I showed up to my 38-week appointment, and I had really high blood pressure. My doctor said, well, we've got to induce you. And I was like, wait, what? That was the one thing I really did not want to have happen. So I literally got whisked from my doctor's appointment straight to triage. And they said, we're going to start it today. And I just bawled my eyes out to my doula. I was like, this is not what I want at all. And so she just said, take a moment to grieve your birth that is not going to happen. But then we've just got to accept it and move forward. And that's kind of how birth goes. It's unpredictable. So I ended up having a pretty long induction, but it was a successful induction. Yeah. We did the 12 hours of Cervidil, and then they started me on Pitocin, which again, I was just so against, but that's just what had to happen. The Pitocin contractions, I'm not going to lie, are not fun. They're very intense very quickly. Like, when I read about contractions, they always talk about it being a wave where it kind of starts gradually, it builds the intensity, and then it comes down. Pitocin contractions are like, I think I'm getting one, and then it's so intense for so long, and very back to back. The doctor came in and said, I'm going to break your water. And I said, no, you're not. And one thing I want people to know is that you can decline things. Okay. So you don't have to let them do that if you don't want to. I had back labor with her. She was a posterior baby, which means all the pain and the contractions were basically my tailbone. It felt like my hips were getting ripped apart. I did that for about 8 hours. And then I said, let's try the nitrous oxide. And they forgot to turn it on. So I was breathing in nothing, just air. And I was like, this is the worst. It's not helping at all. They finally turned it on and it helped a little bit, but I finally hadn't progressed at all. And I said, let's get the epidural. Labored. It took, I think, total 30 hours. Finally pushed her out. And it took about 45 minutes of pushing. And when you're pushing, it's not like you're pushing the full 45 minutes. You push during each contraction 2 or 3 times and take a break. I will say what surprised me the most about my second and third were just how much faster and easier they were. So with this little one, I also call her Bean, which I think is funny. Everything was just so easy. I barely had to push. I barely was in active labor for long. I did end up getting an epidural for that one. So I should back up. I was induced for all 3 of my children for high blood pressure. Again, so I never got that natural childbirth experience that I wanted, but I had a doula for all 3, which I highly, highly recommend you getting a doula, even if you're going to do a medicated birth, because it's just so nice to have that support person that is for the mom and for you. That really helped my peace of mind. But yeah, with second and third babies, they just shot out of my body. I barely had to push. I remember after this one, I said, oh my gosh, that was so easy. I would totally do that again. My husband was looking at me like, you are crazy. But it was just so much easier. And the recovery too, I thought, with my second and third, it was so much easier. So,
okay, I have so much to ask you right now. Okay, so Dr. Janae Davis, who comes on here a lot to talk, she calls it a proven pelvis that you have. Yeah, things come out of it.
They do. Yeah, they do. And it's funny because I don't think of myself as having a big pelvis or anything, but I mean, our bodies, they stretch and move. And the baby
it's not what you look like or anything. It's that your baby can come out without a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Do you love being pregnant? Are you one of these people?
I will say I do kind of enjoy it. I enjoy it. The first trimester is rough. You're fatigued. I'm very fortunate. I never get sick. I never throw up. So I think, if I had horrible morning sickness, I probably would have hated it more. I usually love it up until 36 weeks. And I feel like at that 36, 37 week mark, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of ready to move on to the next stage of pregnancy. But I had all my babies early. So like I said, I was induced for all 3. So I had my first at 38 weeks and then my other 2 at 37 weeks. So I never had to experience those last few weeks that feel like years, as you're waiting for the baby to come.
I can always edit out, but do you mind if I ask you how old you are?
I am 36.
You're 36. Okay.
I had my first baby when I was 30.
Do you think you guys will have a bigger family?
After this last one, I truly think I'm done, but you never know.
You have 3 girls?
3 girls.
Okay.
I love being a girl mom. My husband loves being a girl dad. I wouldn't mind having another one, but I kind of would like to move on to the next stage of life. I don't know. I'm kind of ready to get out of the diapers and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got your hands full. You got the 3 kiddos. You teach a couple times a week?
Right now I'm just teaching 1 time a week. And then sometimes I'll do private lessons and stuff like that.
Does the Instagram, do you view it as work now or no?
That's a good question. Not really. I guess the subscriber page, I do view a bit more like work. Like I try to make sure I'm putting out a video each week and I'm keeping up with that a little bit more. But I don't really truly view it as work.
It's so interesting because I feel like there are only two versions of people like us. The people who are like you, and I think the category is a lot smaller on your side, that you're doing it for fun and it's not your main source of income.
Right.
Or like me, Dara, my friend Rachel, Bowman, like it's work. Always has been since the beginning. You know, like I kind of like went from being a dancer professionally to I'm going to be a professional aerialist. I'm going to do all the things around it that I need to do to keep keep food on the table type of thing. But you're not in that position. So it just makes me wonder, like, because I wonder if it just feels so light to you. You know what I'm saying?
I think that helps. Yeah. Now I will say, like, even before you sent me the Zoom link, I was practicing for a gig that I have coming up. So like that kind of thing I do view as work. I don't do that very often, but when there's a good opportunity, I do try to take that and I do view that as work. So I'm practicing for that. And so then I'll put like my lyra experimentation on the side and I'll plan like a routine or plan what I need to do for that gig.
And for the experimentation, do you feel like that is like 100% fun for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Usually. Sometimes, I try not to be like, I need to put out content because I feel like then it's just not fun. Like I'm doing it because I love moving my body. I want to have fun things to teach my students. I try to do it for me, honestly. And I think that's great because it's not really the way I like. For me, it's the opposite. And it's not that I don't enjoy it, but it's definitely something I'm checking off of a list. And then when I do it, of course, I'm glad that I did it. Oh my goodness. Oh, my brain is, I don't know what your brain is like. How's your brain? Oh, my brain it's so mushy.
It's like scrambled eggs half the time. And if there's a kid on your lap waiting to get their needs met.
Oh, I'm so distracted all the time. And I'll like start a sentence and then forget what I'm saying. It's so bad. And I used to say it's pregnancy brain. And then once I had the baby, I was like, oh, it's because I'm just sleep deprived. And now I don't know what my excuse is now. It's hard. I'm still waiting to get my brain back.
Well, when they want their needs met, like this one right here, now her legs are itching.
Yeah.
So we're taking pants off. Your butt's itching. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's end here. So do you have any piece of advice for those aerial mamas out there who are juggling all the things and also trying to be like robust in their aerial practice? How about that?
Oh, goodness. I would say what's helped me a lot is doing like short, more frequent practices. I have to include my kids in practices. Just be adaptable. Sometimes I will be so excited to train and I'll have all these fun ideas and then my kids are just falling apart and, someone's screaming and I just have to say, okay, it's not going to happen today. We'll try again tomorrow and don't let that ruin your day. Just move on. Just being adaptable really is, I think, so important. Being a mom, labor and all that, you just have to kind of go with the flow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of the same advice as podcasting with a toddler. Yeah. You just have to go with it and it's going to be fine. And people are cool with it usually. It's like, oh, okay, well, obviously you got your hands full and let's see how you can get your work done.
Right.
But KJ, thank you so much for coming on. I probably have a million questions for you, but I can't really think of them right now. And maybe we'll just have you on again at some point.
You can totally do a follow-up. That's fine. I'm here during the day.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll do this one. And if I might reach out to you in the future, let's say goodbye for this bean. My listeners, if you would honor me with a 5-star rating and a review, I would appreciate it forever. It is the hardest thing about being a podcaster is to get your podcast out to the people who want to listen. So the best way to do that is to have a good star rating and just ride that algorithm. So I really appreciate if you guys would just open the Apple app and leave me a review. It makes such a difference. I appreciate you. I also have Greener Grass with Digitent Podcasts with my friend Kelly McVeigh. If you want to hear my voice twice a week, it's there for you. It's light, it's heartfelt, and we bring on some really amazing guests. All right, my friends, over and out. This is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is The Expecting Aerialist.